the Mission Control Podcast.
This popped on my radar only about a month ago as I was listening to a couple of podcasts that I love to listen to. And yeah, it really just caught my eye that this piece of tech, which is in the public domain, it's been disclosed, I guess, or part of it has, that actually has the ability to, I guess, surveil a very wide area.
Yes, they call it wide area motion imaging, or WAMI.
Is literally a piece of technology that has the capability of potentially looking at a whole city or town at once.
Yeah, so
But it's comprised of many different parts in order for the whole vision to work. But the actual technology for the software, I guess, is the Gorgon stare.
Yeah, so the US military has been using surveillance equipment, drone-based surveillance equipment for many, many years, especially following 2001, where they sparked this massive big war on terror and went over into Middle Eastern countries and it needed to find people. Well, they wanted to track people. They wanted to surveil people.
And they slaughtered, about 1 million Iraqis, but yeah, okay, yeah.
So they start off. The main drone operation for them is the MQ-9 Reaper. I think it's MQ-9.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone's familiar with the Predator drones and the Global Hawks, but the MQ-9 is a new version of the Predator, which allows what they're saying is a 4x4 kilometer area, 12 independent rover queries growing to 30, which means the first iteration, the sensor they're saying could photograph an area with a 4 kilometer radius underneath the Reaper. So 4 kilometers is just I suppose a small area in terms of size. Phase 2, which introduced this a new camera system called developed by Argus IS Systems. I don't think that's the name of the actual camera, but that's the company that developed the technology. And all they did was just grab a whole bunch of smartphone cameras, stick them together, put them through some telephoto lenses, and put it in a box, run it through this Gorgon stare system, which allows them to record up to 100 kilometer square area.
Right.
So the system has 368 cameras capable of capturing 5 million pixels each to create an image of about 1.8 billion pixels. That's a lot of pixels.
Yeah. It's a whole city, pretty much.
Yeah. And say the video is collected at a variable frame rate per second, with the resulting data output averaging several gigabytes of video output per minute.
So how they were able to achieve this wider scope was through technology called Argus, right? And that's the combination of all those smartphone cameras combined into one to give that wide field.
So this is Argus IS Quantico, Virginia, acquired November 3rd, 2009 at 17,500 feet. So this is the size of the area that I suppose this camera can photograph at any one time. Now, if this is on a moving drone, obviously it's going to be a moving image, so they can get more size. But just from it, like from there, it's kind of like a Google Maps image, actually much better quality than Google Maps. You can see small things, but then each area is actually, you can go in more detail into each one. There's the potential to start using this on more civilian areas, such as over normal cities, to, surveillance, keep track of people, make sure that no one's doing the wrong thing, I guess. Gorgon Stare Increment 2 is said to feature improved system stability, double the definition, a much wider surveillance area.
So it's getting better.
Miles.
It's slowly evolving.
It's slowly getting better. And the implementation of this Argus camera, which is just a combination of all these small smartphone cameras stitched to get 368 smartphone style cameras that are being projected through 4 telescopic lenses.
Yep.
just allows them from at least 17,000 feet to take such a crisp, clear image, and they're taking it's so it's not a video. It's not a video sequence, like video recording. It's just a multiple of actual still images with a variable frame rate.
Yep.
I suppose that's how like normal
CCTV kind of
CCTV,
takes
yeah.
takes it in
Quick-
photos. Yeah.
quick snapshots type thing, but they do it quite quickly. So I suppose it's got that sort of video feel to it. But it's stated that it's not actually a video feed because the frame rate's different.
Mm-hmm.
This is part of a pod that is used
Mm-hmm.
in the city size 24/7 persistent surveillance.
So these are, in my opinion anyway, and what it appears to be, these are pieces of a bigger puzzle. So,
Yeah,
these are just the many different arms of the whole octopus, right?
Like everyone's just used to drones. You see drones flying around so much so that they're now bringing in laws and regulations and licenses so we
Yeah.
don't fucking congest the airways and stuff.
Registration, no-fly zones.
Yeah.
Perth has a lot of drone no-fly zones as well.
So in terms of, and this is an argument, not an argument, a discussion we had earlier that it's not necessarily the drones that are the problem in this situation. It is the cameras, it's the technology, it is the systems behind it. Because at the end of the day, this kind of technology can be implemented in any aerial vehicle. In terms of what they're doing in the military, because there's no drone currently that we know of that can stay in the air for 24/7.
Right.
They're working. There is concept solar powered type stuff, and they're still working on. But in terms of at the moment, so what it is one drone would be up taking the feed, and then another one would come in and take over, and that one would go refuel or whatever. So there's always something recording, but I think the 24/7 persistence comes down to those teams, those people that sit there and watch the footage. And now we go into another area, which is artificial intelligence.
Right.
Because there's not always someone watching it. And nowadays, artificial intelligence is used so much to points. So rather than actual people sitting there watching these video streams and trying to analyze and work out what's going on, they just run it through an artificial intelligence program. We all know that this shit is out there. That this shit is existing. This stuff is being used. Now, the problem where a lot of people are getting concerned about is the fact that yes, they're going to use it over. They can use it over civilian areas,
or they potentially are already. Yeah.
Or they might be already.
Might be already.
Is it a thing? Gorgon Stare or DARPA don't disclose who.
Yeah. They basically have no obligation legally to disclose where the actual implementation process. So they can talk all they want about the tech, but they're not going to say if it's being used. And I think that's very fishy. So I've actually got it here that all operational information about Gorgon Stare is classified. So the implementation of it, they have no obligation to tell us whether it's being used or not. And that could be, like we were saying before, land or air. Right, because it is just a camera system.
It's a camera technology that allows... Yeah.
Yeah, so where it gets really hairy is when you link this to something that is thinking, predicting, monitoring behavior. Then you have the next program, which is aptly called
Mind's Eye.
Mind's Eye, and that is crazy because, as I said, it's many different arms of this octopus, and Mind's Eye would be the head of the octopus, right? It's the brains behind it, which is able to detect motion and behavior, and actually predict behavior.
Yes. Thanks, DARPA. So the Defense Advanced Research Projects Agency they contracted 12 teams to develop fundamental machine-based visual intelligence.
Right. So not just looking, but thinking.
Not yet,
Yeah.
exactly. Which means these systems allow them to identify. Firstly, on the simple level of identifying, that's a car, that's a person, that's a plane, that's
Going
a bird,
from point
that's
A
a drone.
to point B. That's yeah.
And that kind of technology, we see it now on our smartphones. We have apps where we can Google do it, where you can take a Google Lens, you take a photo of something, and it can tell you what it is based on shapes and things like that. That stuff's like so simple in their technology. They've developed an artificial intelligence that can identify more than just objects, but it can identify movement. So this is what they're saying is a first example of this mind's eye technology, where they can it's identifying individuals as well as their movements.
With a code number assigned to each individual as well, a unique code number.
Yeah, well, I'm not going to go into that just yet.
But where it says pick up before, it's detecting the actual motion and behavior of what's happening in the scene. So.
Yeah, no, this one here, like it detects that the person is digging. It knows that the person is digging a hole just based on the movements and the actions. Again, this one here, they're saying that they detected a turn and a walk.
Yep. Which, that information just isolated on its own doesn't seem that harmful, but when you think about it in context of the AI kind of developing its own story or narrative.
Yeah, so the way when I saw this last video, I sort of looked at it in context. So firstly, I thought, what brought back my memories were the classic Edward Snowden information that was leaked of those Apache helicopters gunning down those civilians who the military personnel thought they were insurgents. I don't know.
Right. That was WikiLeaks' first big break, right?
Yeah. I'm not going to go into what was happening and stuff. But what it is, I looked at this and went, well, rather than these people, these soldiers that are dazed, confused, angry, crazy, looking at this shoddy video, I don't know what's going on, they could be insurgents, let's shoot them anyway. No. What they have now is crisp video with an artificial intelligence running off certain algorithms, let's say, and information which it can identify, understand, and to dare say the word predict.
Or create a story, create a narrative,
and actually be able to know what is happening in a certain situation just by this visual intelligence. Military use, sure, fine. Nothing to say that it can and can't be used by authorities, other agencies.
Yep, intelligence agencies, police agencies,
and then
private contractors, private security firms.
And then on top of it, you have now this visual artificial intelligence that can, in a way, identify and predict behavior. If there's a police helicopter flying around the city with this camera on, they don't have to do anything. They just let the computer do the work, and then they just get an alert when the computer's detected something.
Suspicious activity.
And
everything will be kind of pulled up on screen, but like we were saying, it's interesting because we're always assuming it's going to be in the air. But this could be a camera on the side of the freeway. That
kind of technology where you've got an artificial intelligence that is identifying, understanding, and to say predicting behavior.
One way that I theorized that we talked about a little bit before about just how when it's not about the individual systems, but when you kind of stitch it together, it becomes a whole other thing. But we were talking about those serial numbers for citizens, right? And what if it's not only surveilling and predicting, but it's using data that's also collected from social media, Medicare records, like everything, like basically assigning a number to a citizen and basically predicting the behavior of that individual and what he might do potentially a day from now, a week from now.
Yeah, I mean, you put it down. So if this visual intelligence can identify someone, and let's say everyone's face, body shape is tagged as that's what that individual looks like.
And they have that data. It's all biometrics.
They have that data. Everyone uses a face app.
The second you go through a freaking airport, they've got that data.
Yeah.
Easy.
So all they do is everyone is assigned as a number and information. Then that allows people, governments, authorities, let's say, to if they need to search up, they need to find a person or they need to identify someone, type in the number. Or they bring up the number and then that number then links to your entire online database. Everyone has their own online database.
Yeah. We talked about the points of information, the nodes of information, how at least at any one time there's 500 nodes of information on you online.
500, 5,000.
5,000, yeah. So, I mean, it's all just numbers at the end of the day, but yeah.
And then
You combine all that. It paints this real ugly picture, right?
And then let's say let's say the artificial intelligence, like a real world example. Artificial intelligence identifies that citizen number 8765 has been posting some very questionable things on their Facebook. Their Instagram stories are kind of oddly strange. Security camera identified this person nervously walking around the streets, or just, and by piecing together these bits and pieces.
Medical records show that he has mental issues, anxiety.
Yeah.
Like they could paint this whole picture.
Not even that. Medical just identified that this person went to a doctor at this point in time. And, just track your movements, your behavior online and in the real world. Artificial intelligence paints this picture of you and says, get him.
Not only that, but you were saying they may not be a threat now, but in a year's time, we predict this is going to be the next mass shooter or some weird shit, Yeah. Or,
I mean, like I still feel like we're in early stages of, we've got these individual technologies that are being developed. We've got these wicked cameras. We got this visual intelligence. We've got these data collection, data farms. And it's kind of like all these technologies are being developed individually. We look at them being developed individually. Like, oh, that's a cool technology. That's cool. That's cool. But when if you take all of that and put it together, that's scary.
When you weave the tapestry and you sit back, you look at the whole painting, the whole tapestry, you're like, this is literally the wet dream of every dictator. This is literally the ability to spy without even lifting the finger, because you're letting the machine kind of run its own thing.
So we've essentially gone from the movie Enemy of the State to Minority Report, detecting pre-crime. Yeah, and that's everyone's like, that's crazy. Well,
that's science fiction.
Yeah, so is fucking everything else. Everything else, shit. People develop technology based on movies, or the other way around. We won't argue that one, but
well, Hollywood and the military are very good friends.
Very, very good friends.
That's why half of Hollywood movies have military shit in them all the time.
Yeah. Not to mention that a majority of stuff that we have, technology that we have now, stuff we take for granted, smartphones, GPS, that's all military technology. That's all developed for military use. And then we get dumbed down versions of it.
Right, yeah. We get the little addictive things that, just extract information from us daily. Yeah.
So now, and that's the thing, if this Gorgon stare technology, these Argus cameras, this Mind's Eye software, artificial intelligence is available, if that's literally something that is, it's there. It's there. We're not saying that it's something that they could build, they could think of. No, it's there.
It's there, being tested.
It is right now being used.
And I just want to reiterate, this is 2011. The first iteration of Gorgon
Yeah,
Stair.
yeah. So Gorgon Stair was 2011.
We're in 2019 now. That's like...
The phase 2 that included Argus was 1st of July 2014. They're saying by early 2015, Increment 2 had replaced all initial versions of the Gorgon Stair in operational service.
Had a big software update.
Yeah,
a big firmware,
yep.
hardware update. Yeah,
and that's 2015. We're in 2019.
Nearly 2020.
Where this technology is probably advanced even more. And not only that, but it's probably been made available to other agencies and big bidders.
Yeah, the billionaires with the fat wallets can just buy one.
Yeah.
Yeah. Definitely.
Not to mention the surveillance companies that don't exist.
The sheer coverage of drones by the US military with these fleets. I just wanted you to pull up just from the drone papers. This is a website that you can go to at theintercept.com /drone-papers. But it shows just how many drones there are just in Africa alone.
Yeah, this is so the drone papers essentially they're saying is a whistleblower.
It was actually leaked, yeah.
Leaked all this information about the drone war that I think Obama started.
Yeah, he kicked it off. Yeah,
Obama kicked off a lot of this drone unmanned aerial vehicle surveillance warfare that spread like wildfire throughout the fucking Middle East, Africa world.
Yeah.
This is something we brought up this on another podcast. The drone activity in Africa,
right?
Showing all these stations. So all these the Reapers there. The Reapers there.
So this is the fleet of drones. We may have shown this before, but I just love the picture because it shows how many Reapers. What else do they have there?
The 4 Reapers, 10 Predators,
10 Predators,
F-16, 15 Eagles.
Yeah, those are the manned planes, right?
And the surveillance planes at the top there.
Mm-hmm.
You know, 4 Reapers alone is enough to...
All with Gorgon Stair implemented, you could cover the whole northern part of Africa easily.
Yeah, and this is 2012, 2015. In 2019, the US military have 24/7 eyes all over the fucking world.
Yeah.
They have it wherever they want. I mean, they don't have them flying over Perth that we know of, but...
Just around Pine Gap.
I think what we're just a Pine Gap.
Yeah.
But I think what we're leading to is the idea that this technology, this visual intelligence software is out there.
It exists. Yeah.
It exists. It's been developed. It's available for those that want to use it and can afford to use it.
Yeah.
And no doubt in my mind that they're going to start pushing. They're going to find reasons to use it. They're going to... It was developed... the whole war on terror. The whole war on terror was where this technology stemmed from. They wanted to be able to identify this terrorism. And now when they turn around and start talking about homegrown terrorism and redefining what the word terrorism
what terror
means.
is, yeah. The FBI came out with the massive article in the news about how terrorism will soon be these quote-unquote conspiracy theorists.
Yeah.
That simply questioning narratives and researching means you could be a threat to national security. And the interesting note that they had at the end there was because it could be true.
Mm-hmm.
So they're literally saying, careful, because some conspiracies out there are hitting the nail on the head. And this is where all the meat and potatoes is, I reckon, with this stuff here.
Yeah. And then all that allows them to do is justify the use of this technology that was designed for the war on terror to be used in civilian places where they identify new terror.
Yeah. Yep.
And then suddenly we have these fucking 24/7 cameras watching us pick our noses on the side of the road and
scratching our asses.
And then you put in a CCTV camera down the road there, And as soon as you drop a cigarette butt on the ground, you get a notification on your phone saying pay a fine.
But I'm not even worried about all that.
And
to be honest,
your citizen number loses credits.
What I'm worried about are these deep cover motherfuckers that can, if anything gets hacked into or cracked, like, could they divulge this technology to hidden parties, black ops parties over like international governments, international agencies? It can leak.
It can leak, and
It's not just about governments. It's about, this getting into the hands of anyone that could be malicious. It's not just about the idea that you're being surveilled. I mean, that in itself is scary, but what about in the hands of
So I mean, this article here is, to me, it's more just someone trying to make a quick buck and selling some Reaper drones. The drone's fine. Like I'm saying, it's the technology. It's that camera. It's that little, or not little, but about a football-sized dome, basketball-sized dome that sits on the bottom of these drones that has all the cameras and the software in it. That technology, that thing, that camera, that software, that mind's eye, that's where the money is. That is the shit that people would fucking...
You'd kill for. You'd potentially crash planes for, this type of tech. But I want to reiterate as well, this is just stuff. This should be a quote on the fucking t-shirt, the amount of times I've said this, but this is just what's in the public domain.
Yes.
There is shit that we don't even know about. And I do believe that we're behind on this, a lot of this disclosure.
By about 10 years.
By about 10 years, all the time. We're about a decade behind what's being used.
Yeah, here's the thing. This Gorgon stare has really only hit the public eye now. People are talking about it now. And we're showing that it was developed back in 2011. Sort of the better version was set up in 2015. We're years behind this story.
Yeah. It could even be that they're just leaking this out because they're miles ahead now.
This Mind's Eye, developed by DARPA, program developing smart robotic cameras. This is 2011, January 6, 2011. And you're telling me in 8 years, is it 8 years? 9, almost 10 years, they haven't fucking upped the ante and made better tech? Absolutely. Yeah. And then this technology can be put in any camera. You put in surveillance cameras down the road, on the side of the road. You put them in helicopters. You put them fucking everywhere. And then this technology, this visual intelligence that's all it needs. It just needs a visual input.
Well, I predict that soon CCTV will just be unmanned, just like a drone. You just buy the Gorgon or, whatever technology, whatever program.
Just install Mind's Eye. Yeah.
Exactly. Well, I think these are just a few programs of potentially dozens. Imagine if they had hundreds of different programs for different types of environments,
But, I mean, for me, it's the whole creating a profile on an individual and then being able to track and locate that individual in a second.